Hello, welcome to Ceramics with Miss Tomimitsu. Today I am going to demonstrate how to finish the Sabrina sprinkler, the watering can for our plants. These are two samples that I already finished. This is one that you would hold it like this, basically. A lot of students have been asking me. And the water would come out from here, okay, and from these holes. So today I'm going to show you how to put your slab parts together, how to make a spout, and then how to add the holes. And this is another one that I did. Now, this is the first time I've ever done this project, so the possibilities are really endless on the spout part. And I want students to use their critical thinking skills and come up with their own ideas for the spout. If you like mine, you can use mine. But if you have something more clever, more creative, you can create a spout however you'd like to make it, okay? The other way that I'm gonna make it today is through coiling, and I'll show you that in a minute. So this is scoring, and one thing I don't like, I'm gonna fill this up, is the tools that you want, just a scoring tool, sponge, and water. And when you do score, you're gonna make sure you fill your water up really full so that your scoring tool is collecting water when you dip it in there, and that helps you make the slip. There's a variety of ways to score and slip. This is one of my favorites. Some people just brush on the slip and they don't really score deep enough. And I find that can be problematic, especially with with starters. But this is the way I like it to do it the best. So I want my students to do that as well, okay? The best way to do it, I think. So I have my lovely assistant, Aiden, here. He's gonna do some scoring with me. So I'll hand him so you can work on that one, Aiden. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Aiden. He's sighing in disbelief. Okay, so I remember whatever you join, you always want to score both lots more water, dude. Okay.
I don't have any.
Yeah, I know. Okay, maybe you could spill some of your water into his, Wes. Thank you, darling. Okay, so you want to score and slip both connections. Does this make sense, folks? Yeah. Okay, so, and it's gonna look like really furry and muddy, okay? So I have this one, and take your time, don't go too fast, okay? Just do a lot of water. And I'm gonna go ahead and just join. Now, I noticed that my stencils, they're a little bit bigger than the actual form, so that's okay. I'll show you how to just trim those off using a needle tool or knife. And I'm gonna give that a little pressure. Now I have that, and I can go in and now do the top, okay? Try to stay away from having a lot of water fall in there. You don't want to trap water in there. That can be problematic later on and lead to cracks. And a student asked me yesterday, they were like, well, what about all those scoring marks inside? Does that really matter inside, folks? No, right? It's just the outside. No one's going to see it. No one will know. They're not going to know. Okay, so unless it breaks and then you see it, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just scoring it up, make it nice and furry. And good job, Aiden. Yeah, he got it started. It's so difficult, rocket science. All right, so I'm just gonna go back over. He did some great hatching. I'm just gonna do some cross hatching. So you wanna hatch and cross hatch. Really nice. And Aiden, what's the plasticity of this clay right now?
Leather hard.
Leather hard, yeah. Bing bong, you got it. So these are very leather hard. Now, I'm gonna just put good pressure here, and then I'm gonna take my knife and trim off there. Let me grab one real quick, okay? Could I also use a metal rib?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna have my knife and my needle tool that I didn't have out, and then trim off this area. And I'm gonna take it off the tray right now because oopsie, it could, there we go. It's okay, it's life. Because it could stick and that gets problematic. So I'm just gonna cut off, the excess, okay? I had a student just kind of paddle it down when they went to paddle, and that can be problematic too. So you can kind of just shave it off, along there. So then it's flush. Does this make sense, folks?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, whatever you do to one, make sure you do the other. And then we're gonna paddle. Now, I could use a regular paddle, but I want my walls, I don't want them to be little dents from the roundness of the spoon. So I'm just gonna paddle with a ruler or stick. So in a second, I'll show you that. but I'm just gonna trim these off so that it's nice and flush around the sides. The stencils were a little bit bigger. Is it better to go big and you can trim down, or the opposite? Go big. Yeah, so, because, you know, you can go one way, but it's harder to go back, okay? So before I paddle this, I'm just gonna take my sponge and smooth really nicely around the sides. And I really like the shape of the cube, or like kind of squared off one. It's not necessarily cube because it's a little taller, versus the round one, but to each their own. Now, one thing I really want to encourage my students is to really think about, like I said, creativity with the spout. It is up to you how you build the spouts. This is the first time we're doing it. I would like to see some ingenuity. I would like to see you guys, I would like to see your brain hurt a little bit thinking about how you're going to make yours. I've seen some really creative things that I wouldn't have thought about. So think about it and make it creative. And remember, it's not just a ceramics class, it's an art class, so we're supposed to be using our creativity. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the stick, and I'm just gonna paddle a little bit. The reason that you paddle is so that you're compressing the clay so it stays together really nicely and doesn't come apart later on. And it helps form the shape as well. Would you guys agree? Yeah, you can really make it more rounded. If I really wanted to square this off, I could. If you want to change the shape, and I had a student make her round one into a triangle, it can't be that leather hard though. It has to be a little soft. Mine is pretty firm. Would you agree, Aiden? Yeah, there's not a lot of plasticity left to the clay. It's pretty leather hard. And you can use the table sometimes too, and kind of paddle against the table. So I'm happy for this for now. I'm satisfied. I think it looks fine. I want to show you guys just how to attach the spout that I made. So I made this spout, and you want to make sure that you smear the inside so it's connected. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm just going to put it here. But before I put it here, what do I need to do? Couple things. Score and slip, and what else? Poke a hole. Okay, so I don't want anyone using, and I just want to show you the sizes. I think so. There's one more smaller one, but I don't want you to use this one or this one. You can use this medium, and then there's a small one, and it came up missing. Someone borrowed it last period. There's one that's smaller than this. Okay, can you get it for me? So those are the two use. For this, I'm going to use the medium one. I'm going to poke it right in the center. Okay, and one of my students was worried. They were like, well, what if the clay falls in there? It's not a big deal because we're not putting glaze on the inside, so it'll kind of shake around in there. It won't hurt anything. It'll float in the water when the water's in there. Thank you, okay? So you're awesome, Chloe. So this is the smallest one, and then the small medium one. These are the two you use. The other ones would be too big for this project, okay? So I poked a hole, and now I'm gonna score and slip, right? Okay, so again, I'm gonna need a lot of water and my scoring tool, and just go in and score and slip, hatch and cross hatch around, and then I'll give it like a little stamp so I know where it's gonna go. Boink, right? And then where that mark is, I'll score and slip that. Okay. Now, when I did the one with the flower applique, I did this, and I just took this tool and carved a hole into it, the hole maker. And I scored and slipped this whole thing and scored and slipped the whole thing and then put it on. And then this is almost the shape, but I made like a little pinch pot and poked a hole into it and just stacked them on top. You can do that. You can also, like I said, I used a cookie cutter. You can make an organic shape. I like the two surfaces are really nice too when you have those little pinch pot forms. But for the coil, you don't need to have, or you could, have a surface down there too, okay? A middle surface, but I'm happy with this. Now, if I put this on here, I'm gonna go ahead and add that pressure. What do I need to do to get rid of all those scoring tools? Use what?
A brush.
A brush. I already showed it. I gave you the answer. All right, so. And you could use your finger too if the scoring marks are deep, and a sponge, but I like just taking a brush, and a clay brush, right? Not a paint brush.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And voila, okay? I like this because I'll be able to hold it like this. Now remember, you have to account for shrinkage. So the hole can be a little bit bigger than what your finger would cover. Now we have to just rotate to the bottom. The last step you want to do is just add your holes. And I think the prettier the pattern that you can do, the better. So it's up to you, whatever pattern you make with the holes. But I started with the larger one right in the center. And this is how I did these ones, okay? Where I start with the large one in the center. And again, try to get the clay to come out. But if it falls in, it's not the end of the world. And then I just did the smaller one, you know, boom, 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 boom. And then larger, larger, smaller. And I don't think I need to demo that whole thing to you all. Probably know how to use the hole makers by now. One thing with the hole makers, when you use them, you don't stab the clay really fast and hard. You want to kind of just screw it in when you use the hole makers, and try to pull out the clay each time if you can. And again, just kind of glide it in a circular motion. All right, so I'm pretty satisfied with this guy. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty good, not bad. Not good enough for government work? Okay, all right, so I'm just gonna continue making my holes after the video, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and stop so you can view again 3 different designs, okay, and 2 different shapes, you know, for the body. And happy building. Do you guys have any questions for me before we end? All right, you guys got this. For those of you at home, don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notification button. Bye-bye. Thank you.